So I was just wondering, and maybe what you're willing to contribute. So I was wondering if we could go around and talk about maybe say, what do you think your core strength is? And then like, what would you, not a commitment, but like, what do you think you might be able to contribute into this to this entire process?
I kind of just get around in my neighborhood. I'm very neighborhood focused, and so I work on solar panels with people, and we do a bunch of gardening together and that sort of thing. And I guess I'm just good at getting people to actually talk about caring and to kind of open up to the idea that maybe they would be part of the railroad.
And organizing the microstructure of the network, I think I could be effective at that.
I think one of my core strengths is that I delight in making lovely beds for people. Lovely beds for people.
Oh.
And I have ever since I was a little girl, and I still do. And I do it for everybody coming through, and I don't see I wouldn't really differentiate. I can't help making lovely beds when people come and then they're tired.
People go through the system, show up at the end of their journey and be psychologically damaged is just not functional for either them or the community that they're going to end up in.
We could be collecting stories or art or something from them or creating performances with them, something that became a really positive outflowing to the rest of the community that creates a sense that these people are bringing benefit.
Of sort of the final delivery. You get the body there, but you got to get the mind there, and you got to get the spirit there.
I guess I'm better at persuading people and getting people or groups of people really excited when I'm not worried about if I'm going to fail or not. But with this, if I fail, maybe I've exposed myself too much, right?
And I'm wondering now if my mediation skills would be useful, because it's sounding like there's a greater value in anonymity and not having this sort of sense of a wider network, that might not be as immediately applicable.
My bigger concern, though, is that the refugees passing through the system are actually the ones encountering more people. And
So they're the bearers of a scary amount of knowledge.
Exactly, or they could be, if they pass through a lot of folks. And I think that is an interesting point.
It's sort of the new nomads. I mean, from what I've been hearing, it's not like there's a permanent home for any of these guys. Any sort of community is necessarily temporary until it's discovered, and then they have to keep moving.
Right, and who wants to be told, oh, sorry, your lot is to be a nomad the whole time? It's like, gee, thanks, you're letting me stay here for a night, but where am I going? And yeah.
But
Well, that hasn't been my experience. I think that what happens in the boat, I think, is kind of key to that. It really sets expectations for the refugees. And almost all of these people are so grateful that anyone who's taking any sort of interest in, that's just, it's not what they're used to.
okay.
So I think expectations change, as they get here. But I think in the boat, they need to learn to trust the network, and we need to learn to trust the network. But at the same time, I have to agree that, I don't want to give across I don't want to say that the Underground Railroad is this really smooth working machine that, it's got everything kind of worked out, because most of the time I think that it's just above dysfunctional.
Right.
It's made up of all these individuals kind of doing their thing, and so we do worry about what happens to people, and we could use a better network. But we are in that situation where, how do we do that in a face-to-face, not internet-enabled way?
I can just sort of picture myself leaving this cave and going out into the world with a little bit more of an awareness that this is going on, and sort of keeping an eye out for what people might need. What service can I provide without having to be asked, basically? Like, how can I help in a way that may be subtle but will help move things along?
Well, I would say as difficult as things are in 2019, just getting together, knowing that there are, that you can get together with other people to actually help other people, sort of itself has a very renewing effect and is energizing.
So they stopped the refugees battle.